Hi, everybody. This is Lee McQueen, and I'm speaking as usual on public affairs of the day. And I look at my internet machine, my Google machine, and I discovered that Hillary Clinton is on the lecture circuit again. I don't know if she's getting $2,200,000 for the things that she's saying, the tales that she's telling. But she's got Donald Trump in her sights, although she probably should be talking to the woman in the mirror to be more effective. But she wants to talk to Donald Trump, and she's lecturing Donald Trump on, well, actually, she's lecturing the Republican Party, saying that the Republican Party is no longer the party of Lincoln, they're the party of Donald Trump. And the funny thing is, it makes me wonder why Hillary Clinton is saying such things like that when she's been hustling for campaign donations from Republican Party funders, such as Jeb Bush's mega donors. What is she talking about? I mean, you're either for them or you're against them, or you are against them before you're for them. As long as they're paying your money, it's all good. And if that's the case, then what does that make you? What are you the party of? What kind of party are you having with George Bush's mega donors who are apparently paying you for whatever? And you're talking about Donald Trump saying that he's an avatar of chaos. And the funny thing is, what does that make you an avatar for? Wall Street. So, but let's go ahead and consider the party of Lincoln, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and who's being what and what the comparison should be. Hillary Clinton has pivoted to the general election, I guess. And apparently in this New York Times article, her intention is to use recent police violence against African Americans, as well as violence against police by a lone African gunman, for her political gain. That's what it looks like to me. And it looks like she is trying to position herself as an agent of national harmony. And okay. But the thing is, this is the person who caused the ultimate chaos within her own party, the Democratic Party. She's split the Democratic Party in two with her divisiveness, her racial and gender politics and identity corrosiveness. She's been doing that all election season, and apparently now she wants harmony. I don't think it's going to happen. And so I think Hillary Clinton first needs to deal with her own chaos, the problems that she started and that she has not found solutions to, because she is the author of these problems. The problems originate with her poor leadership, her lack of character, and her vicious nature. And that's just a part of her. It follows her wherever she goes. She goes over here. She goes to the left. She's vicious. She goes to the center. She's vicious. She goes to the right. She's vicious. She triangulates, but she cannot escape herself. It follows her wherever she goes. It's who she is. And so now she wants to, again, turn that mirror on Donald Trump, but she has yet to deal with what's inside of her and how it has hurt so many people. We can try to take this seriously if you want us to give it a go, but it just always comes down to Hillary Clinton. Pointing the finger at Donald Trump and positioning yourself as a lesser evil, maybe some people will buy that. but then to attempt to position yourself as a mediator and position yourself as an agent of harmony, I think that's just a bridge too far. I don't think people are going to want to cross that with you. But anyway, so Hillary Clinton does come out and say that, well, I cannot stand here and claim that my words and actions haven't sometimes fueled the partisanship that often stands in the way of our progress. And no, you cannot deny that, because your super predator remarks, your lobbying for the 1994 crime bill that your husband enacted and that you championed, you cannot deny that. Those are your words. Your words are on tape. They are documented in the public arena. Your words harmed 2 generations of African American men and women. Not Donald Trump's words. Hillary Clinton's words did that. So, I mean, I don't know how you expect people to forget about that. Al Gore, the vice president that you fought with for power during Bill Clinton's administration, led the way towards the public use of the internet. The internet never forgets Hillary Clinton, and so you cannot run away from yourself. In 1994, in the early days of the internet, maybe 1992, at the start of your husband's administration, you could have gotten away with that. Not today. Today, the internet remembers, and that's why the millennials know you for who you are, and not for what you tell people you are. They know who you are. They know what you've done, and they know how you've profited. So you've invoked President Lincoln, and you kind of used his words, and you used his words to tongue lash Donald Trump. You wanted to urge white Americans to do a better job of listening when African Americans talk. You decided that you wanted to speak the names of black men killed by police violence and even some Latinos. And you also reprimanded Donald Trump for claiming that the system is rigged, which it is, because you rigged it. So that's not flying either. You also reprimanded Donald Trump for using not only Twitter and cable news to go after critics and opponents, but you're also predicting that he will use the IRS and the military to go after critics and opponents. But wasn't it Bill Clinton and maybe yourself, since you were married to Bill Clinton and co-president with him, wasn't it Bill Clinton who audited Juanita Broderick when her story about being assaulted went public? The IRS, wasn't that Bill Clinton? Okay. And you also referred to the entire military. How many men and women of our military have been killed under Bill Clinton's administration, serving in wars that we did not need to be in? How many men and women of our military were killed under your State Department, serving in wars that they did not need to be in, like Libya? How many lost their lives? And not just our men and women. How many in Libya? How many civilian men, women, and children lost their lives because of the decisions that you made? Yes, they are dark. Maybe some of them are, of a different religion, but did they deserve to die? And so you are accusing Donald Trump of things that you and Bill Clinton have already done. This is the reason why no one takes you seriously. They know that when you speak, they have to go to the internet, go to the history books, and look up what you said and say, oh, she's lying, or oh, she's a hypocrite. I'm sorry, Hillary. I mean, every time you open your mouth, strange things come out that just do not make any sense. It sounds good. If anyone else besides you spoke it, maybe your speechwriters could actually come up with something that would convince someone of something. But you are not the one. You're not the one. You speak and people laugh because they know that the words that you say mean nothing. Which is why I guess you're quoting Abraham Lincoln. You quoted the last best hope of earth. We, in fact, will be indivisible with liberty and justice for all. And I think people are just saying, really? Okay, you know what? Let's just go through it. Let's just go through it. Hillary Clinton lecturing Donald Trump about the party of Lincoln, the Republican Party. Well, I created a video about the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln, and the fact that Abraham Lincoln was a spoiler. He was a third party spoiler to defeat an economic system that was immoral and corrupt and that was actually destroying the United States. We are at that time again. You said, well, it's not as bad as it was. We're approaching that time because of your Trans-Pacific Partnership that you authored and that you've lobbied for on 45 different occasions. Your Trans-Pacific Partnership that you support and that you lobbied for and that you have emails outlining your support of that you've asked apparently Barack Obama to hide from the public. That Trans-Pacific Partnership is going to create wage and debt slaves, class slaves, subjugated to mega multinational monstrous corporations. We're headed that direction, slave direction. And so we do need an Abraham Lincoln. No, Donald Trump is not likely the very best candidate for that role, but he does oppose your Trans-Pacific Partnership, and he is on the right side of history for doing that. You, in your support for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, Hillary Clinton, you are on the wrong side of history. Bernie Sanders, of course, is on the right side of history. And if there is a God, if there is justice in this world, if there is any sense of the universe lining up to do what's right, Bernie Sanders will prevail at the Democrat National Convention. If not, then Jill Stein will take up the cause of true economic and racial equality. But you know what? Let's again just really review what Abraham Lincoln was about. He was consistent in his opposition of slavery and racial inequality. He was consistent. He didn't flip-flop. He didn't move to the center. He didn't run to the left. He didn't obfuscate his support in order to hide what he really meant. And then sometimes he's for it and sometimes he's against it. He was the same each time. And is that you, Hillary Clinton? Maybe it's not Donald Trump, but it's certainly not you. Okay, so Lincoln was a free soiler. He supported abolition, even in the face of nationwide scorn, threats of violence against himself. He stayed the course. He was in opposition to slavery and the expansion of slavery. He never wavered from that. He was against slavery because the way it created a low moral standing of the United States in the world. Kind of like our system for mass incarceration that the Bill and Hillary Clinton 1994 crime bill has caused and is still causing to this day. Even while you're making your speech at Donald Trump, we have a slave system still in place in the form of our U.S. prison system. So even during his debates with Douglas, Lincoln stayed the course. He didn't flip-flop. He didn't change his mind. He was against slavery. He didn't have fear of a convention fight. Unlike the Hillary Clinton campaign, President Lincoln did not fear a fight at the convention. So I think that's where paths diverge even more. He went to the convention and he fought the 1860. He fought for the 1860 nomination and he won on the third ballot. There was no choreography. There was no pageantry. There was no coronation. Abraham Lincoln fought for a moral position and he earned his presidency. Abraham Lincoln won on the issues, not by pivoting to the center, not by appeasing moderates, not by hustling funding from the opposition party. In his Gettysburg Address in 1863, he said he was dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Declaration of Independence. He said he was for a government of the people, by the people, for the people, not for the 1%. There are approximately 2.4 million, maybe more, in our prison system. And there are at least approximately 120,000 people in that prison system who are possibly innocent because they had to plead guilty in order to get a lower sentence. In the first half of the 20th century, 100,000 people were in our prison system. By 1996, which is Bill Clinton's second term, second year after his 1994 crime bill, 427 of 100,000 were in our prison system. Fast forward 20 years. By 2016, 707 of our population, 707 of 100,000 are in our prison system. They were forced to falsely confess to false convictions and then do false plea bargains and serve false sentences. And some of them are still serving. This is the 1994 crime bill. This is what Bill and Hillary Clinton brought us. And I just wanted to remind Hillary Clinton, because she decided that she wanted to, again, reprimand Donald Trump about the U.S. Constitution. Abraham Lincoln was responsible for pushing the 13th Amendment through Congress, and we commend him for that. There is an interesting caveat in the 13th Amendment that I need to remind Hillary Clinton of, that slavery of criminals is still legal in the United States. What have you and Bill Clinton done with your 1994 crime bill? You and Bill Clinton re-enslaved 2 generations of African American men and women in the United States via the 13th Amendment, where slavery is still legal, slavery of criminals is still legal. These men and women were forced to plea bargain to mandatory minimum drug sentences, even if they weren't actually the perps themselves, if they just knew the perp, or someone pointed them out in a crowd and said, yeah, she sold me some drugs, or if they even lived in the vicinity of a drug dealer. They were forced to plea bargain to a false conviction and then forced to serve a mandatory minimum sentence. They were re-enslaved to the state. That's what the 1994 crime bill did. You snatched these people away from their families, away from their lives, away from their jobs, any possibility of earning money, of living their American dream, of getting an education, no Pell Grant, no education funding, and then taking years away from them, the best years of their lives, their youth, returning them, and then can they get any kind of assistance at all? Can they get education? Can they get housing? Can they get social services? Can they get anything? Usually not. 1994 crime bill. You and Bill Clinton did that. Donald Trump did not do that, Hillary Clinton. You and Bill Clinton did that. What have you done to fix that? Besides talk. Besides do that. What have you done to fix what you've done, Hillary Clinton? So you're standing up and lecturing to Donald Trump, even while you're choosing to forget the money that you earned from those slaves that you created with your 1994 crime bill. Oh yeah, you earned money from enslaving 2 generations of African American men and women. All the way from the 90s till now, that's 2 generations. The people who were of age when the crime bill first hit the scene, and then now they're children. The children are the ones who are being shot down in the streets because it's escalated. They're not just going to jail, they're not even having a chance to go to jail. They're being shot down in the streets because of the 1994 crime bill. And Bill Clinton had the nerve to say, well, it's a federal bill and blah, 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 blah. Well, state and local prisons received federal funds, didn't they? As inspiration, as targets of goals. Every time they met those goals, they got federal funds and equipment, military equipment. They got money and you got money from the private prison lobby. So hold up that mirror, Hillary Clinton. You look at that woman in the mirror and tell us what you see. Do you even want to know what we see?